Hey, everybody. Do you ever feel like you're speaking projector, but the world only speaks generator?
Yes, of course, that's only if you are a projector. So if you don't even know what we're talking about, just just stay with us. It's often like those of us who are projectors in human design are on a completely different wavelength from everyone else. And I know I feel that way all the time.
Yes, pretty much every single day, but it's okay. That's why we created this show, Projectors in the Wild. So whether you are a projector or you just love some projectors, chances are you know a few in your life. We're just going to share our real, honest truth about life, parenthood, and business as projectors, navigating this generator world.
Hi, folks. I'm Heather Vickery. I'm a transformation coach, an author, speaker, and I work with conscious leaders to learn to lead from embodying joy and make joy your foundation instead of your destination, especially when it feels like the world around you is falling apart.
Especially then, yes, and I'm
Especially then.
sure we're gonna be talking about that today. And I'm Natalie Barnett. I'm a success coach helping business owners blast through their blocks and unlock their potential, which is not just about business, it's also in their life as well.
Absolutely. So let's get real. As projectors, folks like Natalie and I, we're natural guides and leaders. We're not followers. And on this show, we're spilling all the tea, the wins, the mess ups, the what just happened moments.
And the why can't they see that? I mean, it's so
I
easy,
can't, why don't they understand? Yeah.
right? So whether you
Yeah.
are a projector, ready to own your own magic, or just trying to understand your projector people, grab a seat. We're happy you're here. The ride's already wild, so just jump on in.
Right, it's already wild. We didn't have a show last week because I bailed at the last minute, so I'll own that. I had kids home. It was Martin Luther King Day.
Mhm.
Um, and also I feel like I have lived several lifetimes in the last 7 days, Natalie.
Mhm. Yeah, last week was the hardest week I have had in a very long time.
Yeah,
Um, and I took a phone-free day yesterday, just
good.
recognizing that I'm not gonna be able to help anybody in a dysregulated nervous system. Um, and I feel at least more clarity
Yeah,
and, like, grounded into myself. So I'd love to we can share more about
that's
that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, phone free. And it's so hard to do. I did a lot of reading for pleasure
Yeah.
this weekend. That's
Mm,
kind of my go-to
mhm.
way to disconnect. Um, yeah. I I really only had one meeting last Monday, and it was with my OBM Esme, who I love and adore.
Mhm.
She's in the UK. And our call started at 10:30 a.m. Central. So for those of you who are following along and tracking what happened on January 20th and the timing of everything, and I get in this call with her and she says, "Hi, love, how are you?" And I just immediately started sobbing. It probably took me 3 or 4 solid minutes to collect myself so that I could even
Mhm.
speak.
Yeah.
I just feel really grateful that I work with people,
Mhm.
both on my team, my clients, and the people that I hire, where I can sit in that space of honesty.
Yeah. And I know sometimes I wonder if people are like, why are people overreacting? This is not an overreaction. It
No.
was like at one thing after another, after another, after another, after another last week.
Yeah,
It, it, and it's not, this isn't little shit. This is big,
big stuff.
big stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it gets so it's really interesting, right? This show is a human design focused show. We connected, well, you and I connected because we were learning NLP, becoming NLP practitioners together, but we had a love of human design and we're both splenic projectors and we just love each other and like, let's talk
Mhm.
about this out loud because there are other
Yeah.
people. And I don't get as much of it anymore, but I used to get a lot of, well, what does politics have to do with any of this? And I think we need to talk about that because
Mhm.
it's not about politics. It's about basic human decency. It's about
Yeah.
kindness. It's about equity and justice and knowing deep in our hearts and our souls what is right and good for us, and then taking action based on what we find when we look into ourselves. And
Yeah.
that's what human design is all about.
Yeah. On that thing about it being political, like people in power know that a lot of people have been programmed that we don't talk about politics and like don't make it all about politics, like whatever. But and so they are using that to disguise, like you said, basic human rights and civil rights. And they're disguising that as politics and putting it back on us. Like, why are you even making this political?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think, and I could get some pushback on this from some of the other spiritual folks that we know. And I'm
Mhm.
not here to tell anybody how they should think or feel.
Right.
We do this show to tell you how we're thinking and
Yeah.
feeling. And if it resonates with you and lights you up, take what you want and leave what you don't.
Hmm.
But I don't actually think you can be in any sort of alignment with your human design if you aren't asking yourself those questions. If you're pretending that the rest of that isn't important,
Hmm.
you're not doing the deep self work that it requires to have any sort of alignment in general, but especially within your human design.
Yeah. Well, and well, to me, the entire premise of human design is to accept the individual for who
Yes.
they
I
are
mean,
and
it
how
is.
they operate. That's what it is. And anything other than honoring each individual's sovereignty and not just like putting up with it, but being like, that's beautiful. Thank you for being here because you're so important. Anything other than that is control, it's ego, it's not spirituality.
It's not. It's really not. So it's fascinating because it puts me like, and I'm curious how where it puts you, sort of on this balance beam
Yeah.
of being honest and authentic about the way I feel, the things I'm
Mhm.
experiencing, and knowing deeply on both a human design level, a spiritual level, a metaphysical level, that what we focus on grows. What
Yeah.
we, right? Like what we put out into the world, we get more of.
Yeah.
And I think the only answer, at least for me, and this is what I would tell a client, if you came to me and we were coaching or doing the Mind Shift Mastery program or anything like that in my Spark Collective, is that we have to be honest about those feelings. We have to name them. And somebody interesting brought up last week, not every feeling needs to be healed.
Mhm.
Because I always say you need to feel it to heal it. And she said, yes, but not every feeling needs to be healed. Some feelings just need to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
I was like,
And
"Oh, I
then
really
that's all
liked
you need
that."
to do for some of them.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? Feel it, thank it, right?
Yeah.
Those feelings are there for a reason. They're trying to give you something, and then move on and look for things that create joy
Yeah.
and for things that you can be hopeful about because they are always there. It's just sometimes you have to look harder.
Yeah. You're so right. Okay. So my daughter, my youngest, is learning about energy, just like and one of
So cool.
you can't, I mean, like it's like, you know, kinetic energy, like things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but
But
science energy, but it's cool because that it all fits into what
it
we
all
know
does.
and what we teach. And when
Yeah,
science meets woo, I get very, very excited. It's my
me
whole business.
too. And this is where it clicked for me because I was helping her study, and she said, I was like trying to ask her questions based on her study guide, and it was, you know, can energy be created? No. Well, what can energy be? Can it be destroyed? No. Okay, well then what can it do? She's like, well, it
We
can
can
be transformed.
transform. Yeah.
And then I
So
saw
exciting.
one of our colleagues from Anchored, which Jessica, who she's this nervous system expert,
Yeah, yeah.
she said trauma doesn't get released, it gets transformed. Trauma is energy that's stuck. So you don't release it, you transform it. And that made it all came
I love
together.
that.
Like, so so whatever you're feeling, that is just an opportunity to transmute it, transform it into something that is useful, beneficial. And for me, this yesterday, taking this time off of, you know, all the like I'm trying to follow like people that are very like people who haven't lost their minds. and like getting my not getting my news from, the normal places, like, but it was constant. It was constant. So I was trying
Yeah.
to I needed some time away from that, and that without that time away, then I wouldn't have been able to come up with what I came up with. I was going to talk to you about this because things like this really crystallize. When things like this happen, really crystallize what's important to you. What's really important to me is DEI. Like that's very important to me because, well, anything like justice, equity, equality, inclusion, accepting people for who they are, all of that, and seeing that as the strength that it is. That's really important to me, and I've known that, but now I really know that with everything that's happened. And so it took me 5 minutes. Like, how am I going to proceed forward here? We buy a lot of stuff from Target. They've rolled back all their DEI. Like they've just gone back on it. So I turned to my mentor who doesn't know me, Tabitha Brown. And
Tabitha Brown. Have you read her book or listened to it?
No, but I'm going
Oh,
to now. She saved my
great.
life in 2020. Different story. But she's affected by this, and she's just so wise. So you go to your mentors, right? And she said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You can stop buying from here. That's fine. But also know that hurt us too. So she's like, why don't you just find the brands that you really like and buy those only at Target?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in a matter of 5
If you're
minutes,
only buying things from Black-owned businesses
yeah,
or queer-owned businesses or whatever. Yeah.
women-owned businesses too, like all of it,
Yep.
everybody, not everybody, but like people who are, and it was funny, not funny. I shouldn't have been surprised, but the people that I wanted, the brands I really wanted to, I looked them all up. Guess what? They all were the ones that I thought were the best brands. Guess what they all were? Either a Black-owned business, woman-owned business, queer-owned business. I was like, well, just right there. That just shows you how much of a value it is. So anyway, and everything else, there's things that I have a store right down the street from me where I can go and buy all of our, stuff for home, stuff for bodies, like cleaning stuff.
Yeah.
You can, and so I just said, I'm sure I didn't make this up, but it just popped in my head. It was like everyday activism. I know I didn't make that up, but like everyday
No.
activism.
And it's small things and they count.
Yeah. So in the matter of moments, I know I'm talking a lot, but like it was
No,
big and
you're great.
profound for me. In a matter of moments, I felt like, okay, so this is how I can transform it. This is where I don't have to hold it on and be like, I can't do anything about this and it feels terrible. But no, I can do something about it. And to your point of not telling people how to think, how to believe, and what to do, I just want to give an example of how I did it. So you can and not get mad at people if they're not doing it the right way that you think is the right way that they should be doing it. Let people go through this process. They're going to figure it out, but we do need to show them an example of how that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. No, I'm with you on all of it. And I love that. Trying to be a conscious shopper.
Yeah.
Money matters. And the resistance is small things.
Yeah.
It's not big things. It's
Yeah.
right. Like, and in fact, it often looks like it's not that at all. It's misplacing something. Oops, where that or whatever. Just it's being thoughtful. And yeah, like I don't shop at Walmart. I have on a handful of occasions. I don't.
I don't.
But we also need to be thoughtful about what is available in your community.
Yeah.
And again, so how do we tie this into human design? Well, these are projector projecting. It's like we're telling you, we're guiding and leading because there are things that we know and we want to share. If the only access you have to whole fresh foods is Walmart,
Yeah.
obviously you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your family. You have to be thoughtful about it. And so we have to know for ourselves. And that goes right back to what we said is that individual self-awareness work, which I am doing every day. And I know you are doing every day, Natalie, like consciously, okay, who do I want to be in this moment? How do I want to be in this moment? And if we're going to tie it back into human design, it's sort of knowing, feeling that resonant in your body of, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's right for me. And then to take intentional action on it. There's not really anything else to it. It's
Yeah.
getting the information from yourself and then taking thoughtful action from that information.
Yes, and then I think will be really helpful for people too is know and understand that I know you want to be informed. I know you want to stay plugged
Oh,
in. I know that, and that's beautiful. Um, a few things to become aware of is that there's fear being thrown at you from every which angle. Take it in, but don't allow it to get to the innermost part of you, and then walk away, get into nature, get quiet. Like I literally had to do yesterday, get away from it, and it it will kind of alchemize a bit in there
yeah.
and transform a little bit there, so things become more clear. And if you know your human design and your um know what your authority is, like what where your intuition comes from, where do you have a gut response, do you have do you need to wait 24 hours, 48 hours for you to ride through your emotions, like what is it, do you need to talk it out, like what is it that's for you, or do you need to lean into like what you want, like what you want is your authority. Like, what do you,
Yeah.
but if you're and for us, like this is why I had to get away, is that we know in the moment, but you can't know in the moment if you're
I'm not aware. You're not
if
paying
you're
attention.
being bombarded. It's like things
Yeah.
will override that small
Yeah.
voice. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. And there's so much, and it's coming from every direction. Well,
Yeah.
I officially cut the cord on Meta. I'm not
Yes.
on any of the Meta platforms.
Mhm.
And somebody texted me and said, "How's it going?" And I'm like, "Really? It's fine." Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it's out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. I miss seeing the everyday things
Right.
that like you're up to, but you know what? Leap in the net shall appear. And we are kind of on the same wavelength, but I now see you all over LinkedIn. Now, I
Right.
think that's a fairly newish thing for you.
Yes, I'm
Um,
loving LinkedIn.
Maybe you can train me a little. Like, I'm still trying to figure out. Well, it's the same thing. It's the same imposter syndrome I had with you
Just like
on
it's like
Instagram.
it's
I have you
different.
on LinkedIn, but you're great at it. But my point is, like, we. It's okay. I don't really miss it. I'm
Yeah.
on Blue Sky. I'm
Mhm.
still on TikTok, which is debatable how long that'll last. But
Yeah.
um, because that whole thing is wild. Censorship is alive and well in the United States of America, and it's
Oh yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's really forcing me to think outside of the box and to be
Mhm. Mhm.
creative
Mhm.
and to shut down some of the noise and really reassess. And I'm super grateful for it. And it's interesting because what I've come back to is something that people have been telling me, mentors of mine have been telling me for many years now, which is build evergreen products. Well,
Yeah.
my story is behind that is, yeah, but they're so hard to sell. And folks, they really are kind of hard to sell. But what we are officially taking action on right now is building out an entire catalog of human design related subliminals.
Ooh,
All
yes.
of the types, all of
Yes.
the authorities, all of the strategies, all of the centers, defined and undefined, the environments, the profile types, all of it. And I'm going to record them, and you can buy one or buy all of them or whatever you want, right?
Mhm.
Because it's so helpful when you said like go outside, get in nature, get grounded. Yes, and sometimes we're good with silence and sometimes we're not. And I find even if I just give myself like a 15-minute, because I think these will all be like
Yeah.
15-minute long subliminals, and if you can want to loop them, you can, right?
Yeah.
Um, Listen while you go for a walk or listen while you're stretching on the ground or
Yeah.
I mean you can always just have them on in the background, but I've had clients asking me, can you make subliminal audios that are about my human design, and we can do custom ones too, but I just think it's fascinating. And then once we get that built, I'm moving to recorded guided visualizations and meditations for people to download, because
Mhm.
I just want to make it easy for people to have access, easy for them to show up for themselves, not necessarily have to be searching. So now we got to figure out how to get it in front of people so that they know it's available. But I'm like, okay, fine, I'll build it. Fine.
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, it's so like I this is an aside on LinkedIn. I learned a long time ago about it. I don't know why this is my process. I learn about something, I'm like, nope, don't want to do that, can't do that. And then years later, I'm like, I think I'm gonna try it now. But there was, I learned about like live events on LinkedIn apparently as a good way to,
This is a live event on LinkedIn right now, in
yeah,
case you
like
were
right now.
wondering.
And so, like, things like this can be really good for getting in front of new audiences there. So if you're on LinkedIn, let us know if you see this.
Yeah, I know. And
Yeah.
it stays there, right? It lives there. I wish
Yeah.
there was a way to tag you. I have to think about that. You might have to go in
I
and
probably need to
find our
go.
live and share it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool. We can do that.
Um,
But yeah. Um,
your name is on there, but I don't know how to tag from because we set it all up in StreamYard and I don't
yeah.
know. There's not a way to tag from there. But yes, it is interesting. And finding, new platforms and meeting people
Yeah.
in person and all of that. As a projector, it was really easy when I found out that I was a projector and when I found out, kind of what that could mean for me, because I don't want to say what it meant because everything's up for interpretation, but what it
Yeah.
could mean for me. I happily and joyfully leapt right into rest. Like, oh, I don't have to feel bad about any of this, which I don't, but I think I can take it too far. I think
Mhm.
it easily slides into hiding and playing small.
Yeah.
Um, and I have to, it's it's healthier for me to get out and go do things and meet people and then make sure I'm prioritizing rest around it
Mhm.
before and after.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but you got to be honest on your call yourself on your bullshit.
Well, I remember you're the one that told me about for projectors, like rest comes first.
Yes.
And that has, it's actually helping to guide me in my, like physical health, mental health, like as in yesterday was an experiment in that, which went very well. Um, Rest comes first. So I'm really trying to design days where I know movement, I think especially for projectors and especially splenic projectors, moving our body, like whatever way, walking, jumping on a trampoline, like helps move like lymphatic, the lymph, like lymph fluid, lymphatic
Yeah,
fluid
yeah, yeah,
through your
yeah,
body. So then you can be more open to receiving those downloads.
yeah,
Um, but I also operate so I love it. If I could have a slow morning, get myself like have my coffee, enjoy some reading or some journaling or something, get myself dressed, and then go to the gym to get moving, but not like boom, boom, boom. Like that would be so that
yeah,
anyway, that advice to me is able to guide me in my like creating more ease and creating that clear channel for myself so that I
yeah.
can be the best projector guide for people.
Yep. I love that. It's really important. And I will just say, not everybody's gonna go to the gym. Me.
Yeah.
Hi, it's me. I'm not gonna go to the gym. Um, you also have that you've defined heart, right? Ego?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no. No, 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 I don't have a
No,
defined ego. No.
you
No,
don't.
and I also have my motivation arrow is pointing right.
So,
So I love structure except for when I'm not motivated to do it, is
yeah,
my thing.
interesting.
Mhm.
So, but I have been doing almost every day, not every day, because I'm not a structure and routine oriented person, which I already knew, but my human design confirms it.
Yeah.
I have been doing somatic yoga through
Nice.
an app called Yoga Go. And I think they only use the word yoga because, and I don't need anybody to come at me. I don't know the actual dictionary definition of yoga, but it's embodied movement. It
Right.
is how I understand it, right? And so it's all very soft. It's somatic. It is designed to shake up, those lymph nodes and the
Yeah.
fluids and, stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. And they're like anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes long. And that feels really good to me. And I
Mhm.
take those little exercises. So, for example, one of them that it has us do is to stand up straight, legs hip width apart, and start by shaking your hands and then your
Mhm.
your whole arm and then your shoulders and then your body rocking on the tips of your toes, and just do that for like 30 seconds. So if I feel, and I just did this, I right before we had our live, I was hungry, I needed to get something to eat, and I just felt like I was going to explode with
Mhm.
tension. And so stuff was in the microwave and I just did that for
Yeah.
2 minutes while my stuff was in the microwave and I felt so much more steady and regulated afterwards. So
Yeah.
there are lots of different ways to do it, and you got to play around, figure
Yeah.
out what it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
It, it's interesting. And so let's talk about those of us with open emotional solar plexus in the world right now.
Oh man, I know for a fact that that's what I had, especially anger. Now, it's not like I can't be angry about things, but I absorbed a lot of anger
Mhm.
last week. And there was a night where I had, like, an inordinate amount of anger coursing through my body. Everything was making like setting me off. So
Yeah.
I went down to the guest room. I was like, I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight. Not because I'm mad at you, but because I'm
Good for
angry.
you.
I'm
How does your
angry.
husband handle that?
He's like, okay, he gets it now. He doesn't take any offense to it anymore.
Oh, I love
Like I
that.
just, so I did breath work to bring it up. I, you know, hit the pillows and I screamed into the pillows and released it from my body. I knew that it wasn't all mine.
Yeah,
And then I had a hypnosis that I fell asleep to, and I woke up feeling so much better. Um,
brilliant.
you're gonna, if you, especially if you are keeping informed, this could be if you're around a lot of people, any if you're around a lot of people or around a lot of upheaval, or it could be a lot of joy too. I mean, it can go both ways.
Yeah,
um, but just know, I mean, I just know this is probably not all me, and I gotta release
yeah.
some of this.
I love everything you just said. So those of you who are watching who have an open emotional solar plexus, and slight plug, if you're like curious about this but you don't actually know your human design,
Yeah.
reach out because we
Yeah.
can do a reading for you. We can educate you on it. It's really cool stuff. But when your solar plexus is undefined, that means that you absorb and amplify the energies of the people around you. And right
Mhm.
now, the collective energy is intense.
Mhm.
Um, and and the energy of it, right? Energy never dies. It's only can only be transformed. What we just talked about before, what your daughter's learning in science, which I think is cool, and how we can apply that to
Yep.
everything else. Um, you can transmute it, you can transform it, you can change it, but
Mhm.
you also want to be, Natalie, you said it perfectly, recognize like, oh, this is not mine, or it's
Yeah.
not all mine.
Yeah.
And then pull out whatever tools in your resource box that you want. I love the screaming, I love to hit the pillows. If you want to do breath work, EFT tapping, which Natalie has an
Mhm.
incredible, membership for, guided meditation, anything, go walk in nature, whatever it is, do something
Yeah.
to move it through you, because it will eat you alive. And I spent so much of my life so jacked up with everybody
Mhm.
else's emotions all the
Yes.
time.
Yes. I was was wondering why it felt so intense in my house sometimes growing up. And then I did my dad's chart, and he was an emotional projector. He was the only emotional in our house.
Oh, so he was flashing emotional waves at you guys left and right.
Yes. Yes. Uh, and I was like, I always felt like, not that it was my fault, but like, am I crazy? I mean, I feel like that a
Yeah.
lot, honestly. Like looking around, like, am I crazy? It seems like, or,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
mm, yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, if you
Oh,
if you don't know your human design yet, like I would reach out to Heather for a full like reading, and
thank
get
you.
to know that, because it's
Yeah.
a game changer. And then you get to know your kids too, and get if you
My
want to, your family.
kids, your partner. It's actually really great for teams, like when you work
Yeah.
together too. I love doing team stuff. I actually decided, so I have two levels of human design reading. So human design on demand, it's quick, it's $50. You fill it out. I do the
Mhm.
reading. I send it to you as PDF. We don't go back and forth on it. But my full reading, the VIP reading, I just decided today that moving forward, it's going to include the full catalog of subconscious of
Oh yeah.
subliminals.
Yeah.
So I'll send you all of them that apply to your chart after the reading's over. And that's going to be like a couple $100 value,
Yeah,
right?
that's
If you had
insane. Yeah.
all 9 centers, your authority type, strategy,
Yeah.
profile line, environment. Like,
What if you put like once you get those, because you said there would be like 15 minutes, you can put them all on a playlist.
I know, right?
Keep on
Just
cycling through.
all day long.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
that'd
I
be
just
good.
decided why not? If somebody was going to go ahead and put the money in, because it's $500, but it's worth it. Like, it takes me quite some time to customize these presentations that we spend 2 hours together on Zoom, um, or in person, coaching and talking through it all. And I was like, I'm just going to include the
Yeah,
subliminals. Why not?
yeah. I mean, it's going to help people to like integrate it more on a
Yeah.
subconscious level. Because here's the thing, like when you find out that you need to wait for the invitation, right? As a projector, you're like impossible. Rejecting that, like the bouncer at the bar, like get out of here, get out of here. Um, and when you're listening to a subliminal, the bouncer falls asleep and lets in
And you
whatever.
just get to go
Yeah,
in. Yeah. I love that. I love that visual.
yeah.
That's great. Oh, the invitation, the invitation. I just have to consistently remind myself, and I often remind my projector clients, people can't invite you if they don't know you're there. You still have to show up in
Yes.
places and spaces
Yeah.
and talk about what you know. And then, folks, the invitations will come. They'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, tell me more.
Tell me
Yeah.
more. Exactly.
Oh, I'm glad you're taking care of your sweet projector self, my friend.
I even feel a difference between yesterday and today. Just getting back on platforms because I have clients and I have to help them.
Yeah.
Kind of my
Yeah.
job. I'm like, yeah, just like more jittery. So the next step is like integrating more rest and more boundaries into the day. So
Which you've been working on for some time now. Anybody who's
oh,
been watching
I
this
bet
show for the last several months knows that.
it's like for my own work, I've done a lot better. It's just this where is it? This thing.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Connectedness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll
It's
keep you posted.
wild. Keep me posted. Well, I'm glad to be back in the projectors in the wild saddle with you today, and
Yes,
always grateful
me
for the
too.
time.
Thank you
So,
so much.
folks, come back. We're here every Monday at 1:30 p.m. Central, 2:30 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I don't know if you're international, do your own time zone conversion, but you can also find it on YouTube and LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Um, it's just the truth. We just come out here and we talk about what we know and what we're experiencing, and hope that it
Yeah.
helps you all. So,
Yeah. Bye, guys.
bye.